see. I feel like it's crooked, or maybe my head's crooked. I don't know. All right, 12:30 on the dot, East Coast time. Welcome everybody. It's me, Froggy. We're here doing another a live video. We're going to cover another story in the Justin M. Posey's Beyond the Map's Edge, Big Treasure Hunt. All right, so it's this book, if you don't know what we're talking about. And we're going to cover one of the stories. And we'll maybe I think the story kind of naturally leads itself into this. But it's what's on my mind a lot lately. So we'll be doing some Cipher discussion at the end. I don't have a Cipher. I don't have the Cipher. So I know one of my last videos was kind of a big revelation. But this one, hey, what's up, Rob Zeal? How you doing? First, you made it, bud. You're first. First on the charts and always first in our hearts. That's for you, Rob. Digging Buddy, Treasure Pack. Hey, how you guys doing? NZEP, what's up? So again, we're gonna cover the treasure. All right, that's not me talking about the treasure. That's the name of the story, the treasure. So we're gonna cover the treasure, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about Cipher stuff. Again, this isn't breaking news. This isn't Decipher or anything. It's kind of what's been on my mind a lot. So we're gonna cover some things about that. Yo, what's up, Kira? How you doing? King Casher, what's going on? I'm second. That's right. That's right, Mom. No, Mom, you're first. You're just first in the heart. There you go. What's up, Rob? Can't laugh. My mom's on here, so I don't want her feeling bad that some guy named Rob Zeal is replacing her. All right, we have fun here. We have fun. All right. So not a long introduction. We're just gonna go ahead and get into it. The treasure, right? You start out with a box, right there, which, as we know, several times he's talked about. He stuffed the treasure. He filled it to the gills. He could not fit anything else in there. This picture, I think, is not a good representation of that, which is one of the reasons that why we don't believe that the treasure container is that saddleback briefcase, right? Along with the fact that he said it's not the saddleback briefcase. So I'll just point that out. It's really in clouds. Hey, what's up, Art? How you doing? Kelly, always good to see you. DC, got the eyes going, watching me, watching you. And Davia, what's up, guys? How you doing? Michael and Rose. First. All right, here we go. So he starts out talking about his broken tibia, right? Hiding the treasure is significantly more complicated. Several times he'll refer back to it, and I think it's just letting us know the conditions that we should expect while we're going out there, and consider the physical status of the hider when he goes out there, right? Not to mention, so there's been a few pirate references. Most of the treasure hunting references throughout the book have been conquistador, Aztec, Spanish, a couple stuff off the coast, Nova Scotia, right? This is, he really triples down on the whole pirate theme in this story, which, we're coming to the end, so I'm like, trying to weigh that in my head. But at the same time, if the story's called The Treasure, anything in it makes it want to stand out, right? If on my list of importance or prioritizing stories, The Treasure is kind of like top 3, right? Let's go here. We're moving kind of fast. Yo, Mushi, what's going on? Your beard is... Thank you, Art. Pete Leal, what's up, Pete? Good to see you, Pete. Blue Sky. Good evening, all. Good Team Beard. Hey, how you doing? Cutie Girl XD. Rose can be my beard. All right, yeah. So the pirate theme, here we go, get into it. No one mentions this in the pirate manuals or adventure novels. So adventure novels is pretty easy. You've got the True West, you've got the Hardy Boys. I think I might classify both of those as adventure novels. The pirate manuals is a little bit trickier. Pirate manuals, nothing really pops to head immediately from all the media listed in his book and in the doc about a pirate manual. Now, there are some Spanish symbols and some books about treasure symbols, which I took as like conquistador in Spanish, but I guess maybe you could look at those as a pirate manual, or maybe that's something we're supposed to find. So we're gonna cut it in January. So I've got a little bit of a costume planned, and it requires a little bit of a beard. So while yes, I could just pay $7 for a fake beard, I figured, hey, let's save that $7 and just grow something. So I'm not really a huge fan of beards. I guess mine are itchy. I don't know. Maybe it hasn't gotten to the point where it stops being itchy and it dries out my skin a lot. I don't know. It's just annoying to me. And it's just easier if I'm shaving my head to shave my face. So I don't know. Anyways, sparkles. No comment on the sparkles in the beard. No comment there. All right. But moving on. So right away we have a pirate mention in the beginning, something about a pirate manual, right? Pirate manual tells you how to do something. So we're supposed to look for a pirate manual somewhere. Adventure novels, kind of easily explained. And then we go, so like 3 mentions of 3 big core things, which I feel is intentional, right? He's looked at this book from a hunter aspect. He's looked at it from an AI aspect. He knows kind of where it's going to lead. And right off the very first paragraph, in a story called The Treasure, we've got pirates, we've got adventure novels, and we've got a shuffle of life's deck, all right? One of my first videos, might have been the first video I did on the book, since I received the book, was noticing how there was a nice like 52 and it's like a 13 breakdown in the very beginning of the story. We're back. All right, so let's see. I forgot where I left off. Grow your sides out, G. Sides of what? Sides of my head? That would look ridiculous if I'm like bald up here. Use oils. Okay, oil. I've been hearing that oils like avocado oil, cooking oil, vegetable oil. What kind of oil are we talking about? All right, but I lost my train of thought. But I don't know if you guys heard about the cards, right? So we're reading about the haphazard shuffle of life's deck. That maybe immediately made me think about the playing card reference, especially with the numbers 52, the 48, the 13. All of these are referencing cards. And then with the whole ASCII thing about the spades, I just couldn't make it work. I really believed early on that the key to the cipher was something with playing cards, trying to figure out what suit we needed, right? Spades and hearts are pretty high up there. Hearts are mentioned a lot. You're going to see a lot of hearts in this chapter. So I was looking deep at spades, looking deep at hearts. The good thing about spades and hearts is they're kind of like almost the same symbol, right? A spade is just a heart flipped up with like a little knob or tail or stem, I guess would be a better word. So I was really pretty early on looking at the spades versus hearts, looking at red versus black, trying to see if I could come up with anything there, and it just never made it work, right? So I kind of put that off to the side. But now that we've got the tech clue figured out, hey, let's focus some energy on the cipher. So we're moving on. We have his introduction on how he got introduced into the Forrest Fenn hunt, right? It's Jenny with the flick of the wrist, right? Flick of the wrist. Then we talk about Forrest Fenn, right? He starts off building some similarities with them. So he talks about we both had a penchant for exploring the world's secret pockets. Again, that's if that's what we're looking for, right? If we're looking for a place hidden away that's special to him, a secret pocket might be something that we'd be looking for. Definitely makes you want to look at any place on the map with the name secret, right? It might be a little bit too obvious, but it's just something that we're thinking. Yeah, the Hardy Boys, King Casher, right? That's an adventure novel, right? So American West, Hardy Boys, and there's other adventure novel series out there. It's just we're looking at the ones mentioned in the book. That's pretty good. Hey, what's up, Diane? Secret Pockets. Rose. And then we talked about, okay, moving on. So this is again, I like to listen to how Justin describes Fenn in his book. That's going to be a reference for us. So this is what he describes Justin as: an elaborate way of thumbing his nose at the drudgery of everyday life. He expresses rebellion by concocting a treasure hunt, right? I guess rebellion is a funny word there for me. You think rebellious, you think counterculture, you think going against the grain. A treasure hunt, I don't know if that really fits it, rebellion, but again, Justin's using these words for specific reasons. No caves, Michael. No, caves are out. So safety there. No caves. And then, so this next line, right? Now, in hindsight, a lot of things stand out now that the clue. I don't know if I would have gotten this at first. Well, I didn't, because I didn't. But listen to this sentence right here. Forrest's audacious move was less about the physical treasure and more about an invitation to live in technicolor. A beacon for anyone who's ever felt the itch to peel away a surface layer, glimpse the world pulsing heart beneath. I'm starting to see a lot of emphasis on the heart, right? And especially if you tie stuff in this sentence to how the technical clue was found, right? Peeling away layers, living in technicolor, looking at the heart, the pulsing heart, pulse, beats, tones pulsing beneath, right? So, I mean, you can kind of see a little bit of a hint right there to the tech clue, right? But again, all this is super easy to do in hindsight, right? We already know the answer, so looking back, it's easy to say, of course, right? Is my new Walking Around Home Depot soundtrack. I love it. Hey, that's what I'm here for, man. Home Depot, great store. Shop there. I'm late, and not too late, Sneaky. We're just on the first page. All right. Then we talk a little bit about the first mention. Is this the first mention of Jack Stoof? It might be the first mention of Jack Stoof. Right here, to buy the whole treasure, right? So he says the finder is Jack Stoof. Gives him credit there. I'm not going to go too deep into that because that's a sensitive subject for a lot of people. Talks about the deal being sealed through his LLC. And then he talks about a little bit about the reason why. So he says, I felt that it should go to a lot of people. They poured their hearts out. Again, this is where it's tough when you're reading a book and you already have a preconceived notion in your mind, my mind. So in my mind, I'm already hyper focused on the heart because of a lot of research that I've been doing, and so it makes it tough to read all this objectively, right? Because I want to be as objective as possible to point out things that I think Justin's trying to point out, but I'm already obsessed about the heart. So now everything I see heart, I'm like, of course, it's right there, right? So again, searchers who poured their hearts into this hunt. Gauntlet puzzle, lower match made in heaven. Let's see. There's something else I want to point out. Oh, here we go. Toward the bottom. The ultimate puzzle I discovered. So this is something that he discovered. He's sharing with us. What do you discover? He discovered treasures. The ultimate puzzle he discovered wasn't one to be solved with a map of decoder ring, but with an open heart. I'm like, of course, it's so much easier there. I guess the way my emotions are, the way I'm feeling right now, is because the tech clue was out and I missed it. I'm trying to make up for that by trying to figure out another major key, right? So I'm looking at there's so much for the tech clue. In hindsight, I can't wait for Justin to say, oh, I didn't mean that to be the 42. That's a coincidence that it was a 42. This is what I meant for the tech clue. But it really, early on I was on the train that the 42 is used and done, mark it off. But bro, it keeps coming up over and over again. There's 40 things today people have discovered that point to 42 and tech clue. And I'm like, is all that just for the tech clue? Are we still supposed to be using it? I don't know. But then I see okay, well, he uses a lot to point to it. So the heart keeps coming up again and again in the whole book, but of course, in this particular story, the treasure. All right, let's move on. So the ultimate puzzle wasn't solved with a map or decoder ring, but with an open heart and a willingness to venture to the unknown. And early on, I heard some people use that as a reason for why we should look outside the map, right? So he gives us a map, he talks about beyond the map, and he tells you right there, the way to discover the ultimate puzzle is to use an open heart and venture into the unknown, right? So something off the map. So again, I see it, I get it. Okay, moving on now. So this is where it gets pretty interesting because the title is called The Treasure. We have a picture on the first page of a treasure box that's not filled to the gills. Plenty of room there. And now we have some pictures of treasure, right? Nice bar, numbers at the bottom, nice coins. So I'm like, okay. Book's called The Treasure. Pictures of treasure. Makes sense. A little sneak peek. The next page, we've got, and again, the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but that Brandon, Dad, Grandpa? So right there, again, there's 3 out of the 4 of the dedications, right? And they're unlabeled, so there's no description for those photos. So we have there's a description for the treasure, right? Photo by Dave Clausen. There's a description for the coins, right? That's here at the bottom. It says middle from the Ford collection, right? Talks about the Ando, capital ANDO in quotation marks. No description for the Swiss bar. Interesting, right? And no description again for the people here. But let's go ahead and stay in order, not to get too far ahead. Here we go. Let's see. Okay. Oh, Sturm's dropping knowledge. Okay, I wasn't sure. I wasn't gonna say this. I don't know, but Sturm is dropping it out there. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So, in any deck of cards, this is one thing I liked about cards is that there's little hints and clues and treasures that are kind of agreed upon, that are passed down between most card makers, right? And one of those is the one-eyed jacks. So you've got what's called one-eyed jacks. You've got suicide kings. suit. Oh shoot, I don't know if I can say that. You got one-eyed jacks and unalive kings. Sorry, it's the world we live in. And the kings, the unalive kings, I guess they have this. They're holding a sword. I have a deck of playing cards in the other room. I should have got them, but they're holding a sword like this, right? With it going behind their head. The one-eyed jacks are very easy to explain because it's a jack with a side profile. So the jack is not facing the front; he's facing the side, and you can only see one eye. And there's a couple other interesting little tidbits like that with the face cards, right? Which are the jack, the king, the queen. They have the face cards because they have a face on them, right? A face of a member of royalty. And again, these are little intricates. I'm not a huge card guy. I'm not a huge poker guy, but these are little fun tidbits and facts that I like. That who decided this? It's a fun research, fun wiki rabbit hole. Who decided about one-eyed jacks and unalive kings? Who decided it? And it's just agreed upon. Like almost any deck of playing card you pull out, they'll have that. The jack, there's always two jacks in the side profile, one facing forward. There's always two kings that kind of have a sword either positioned like this or like this. So it's very, very fascinating. And I wasn't sure if anybody was going to say it because some people have that as marked pretty high in their secrets. But it's awesome to Stern for sharing it out there. I think it's pretty something easy, fun to discuss. You can find references of aces, of queens, of kings, and jacks kind of all scattered throughout the book. Again, I just haven't been able to make anything coherent or cohesive with those. All right, chat's moving. Let's go ahead and catch up. Metronome, Davio paints the best. Yes, shout out to Davio. If you don't know him on Discord, great dude. His profile is one of his original artworks, and he does those. He does commissions and he sells paintings. So if you're into art, connect with Davio. Get him to paint you something. 42, man, it's all over the place, DC. What's up, Sneaky? Okay, Storm says he's been kicked on a heart kick. He's been on a heart kick before. There's 49 hearts in a text. A few more in some of the images. It brings us to 52 or so. I thought was willing to build a royal flesh solve. Heart 2 comes with the one-eyed jack. Not knowing what items are no longer in play due to oak shilling. Yeah, we're getting to the oak shilling. We're getting there. Unalive kings. Yes, I'm interested in the pocket to watch treasure photo, like in memes. Okay, all right, we're caught up to the chat. Let's move on. So again, a red. A lot of people pointed out how big red is. A heart is one of the red suits. So I'm like, man, there's so many things pointing to heart. There's a lot of things pointing to playing cards. There's a lot of things pointing to red. Red heart, it makes sense. And again, I've done a playing card cipher. I've come up with one on my own. That's why I thought, man, if I'd solve this, it'd be a really great connection. And me and Justin would be best friends. And we could hold hands and go fishing and come up with a secret handshake. And I don't know. It's just being silly. But yeah, I did. I came up with a... because the alphabet is 26 letters, so it just matches so perfectly to use playing cards as that. Because if you have two suits, right, that's 13, that's 26. You can match each card to, minus the jokers, right? No jokers in this hunt. You can match up the two suits to the 26 pretty easily and have a really nice, simple, each card equals this. And you can do it two ways, right? You could pick two suits, right, like hearts or spades, right, shovels or hearts. Or you could also pick a color, right? Let's do all blacks or all reds. And that'd give you a nice, easy 26. So there's a lot of things I like about a card cipher, right? I just haven't been able to make it work. All right, moving on. Justin like to do magic card tricks. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. A person who's when you do magic card tricks, I went to Vegas and I got suckered and bought a magic card deck. Never figured out how to use it. It's probably lost somewhere. I did get the magic thumbs, the thumbs with the light on them. And I am able to amaze 7-year-olds. So if you're 5, 6, or 7, I'm a really good magician. Past that, I'm not quick enough with my hands. But I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, but if you're someone who's really good with cards, and a couple of my friends dabble in it, you have to put a lot of hours practicing, which means a lot of hours staring at cards, which means a lot of hours thinking about it. All right. Okay. So again, he says I found him. An embroidered kind of scheme on paper might seem herald of midlife crisis. Not for me, the red convertible. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, not red, not hearts, it's spades, right? I don't know, just we're reaching here. He would flip the script. Instead of scavenging for treasure, he would hide one. Life short, and then your compost. Okay, moving on. So this is pretty interesting to me. Embarking on this treasure involved 2 exceedingly long trips, each stretching well over 4,500 miles. Take a little pause there. How much would you say well over is, right? I think we can agree well over is not a mile or two over. If you're dealing with 4,500 of something, well over to me is not one or two more, right? I don't even know if well over would be 10 or 20 more. 100 or a couple hundred over, that would be well over to me. So for example, hey, I went, I hit a jackpot on a lottery on a slot machine. I won well over $4,500, right? I could win 46 or 47. Seems probable, well over. I don't know, because if you win close to 48 or 49, why not round up to 5,000, right? Hey man, I won a jackpot on a lottery. I won well over 4,500. How much did you win? Oh, 48 or 49. Why not just say close to 50? I don't know. It's just something I think about. Again, I went well over, right? So if you're saying well over, why point that out? Maybe you're just rounding up or down to the nearest 5. Is that important? Do we have to round up or down to the nearest 5? Is that the pattern he set? These excursions, secrecy, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so this is the next part I want to point out. About halfway down this page, I'm on 196 of the hardback. So before you start thinking I've gone off, and this is him addressing the reader directly, which I always find pretty interesting. Before you start thinking I've gone off the deep end into the realm of allegory or speaking in riddles, let me set the record straight. This is a direct quote from the book I'm reading. This treasure of mine is real. It's a bona fide, and this part right here has a lot of people scratching their heads. It's a bona fide, comma, grab your walking stick and start searching kind of treasure, right? And there's a hyphen. It's not an M dash. Those are N dashes, right? Those are dashes that are the width of a letter N, not an M. All right, N is in Nancy, not M is in Mancy. All right, so again, we'll pause right there. This gives credence or support to people that say, hey, you know what? This is an Indiana Jones type solve. You need a stick. This is Justin telling you need a stick because he tells you grab your walking stick when you go out there, right? I think someone asked Justin if he takes a walking stick. I'm blanking off. Normally I'm better at this kind of stuff. And he kind of responded no. But we do have the picture of him with sticks in the snow in the book. But I think he says, and is he wearing does he have a stick in the Pegan Pass? Let me see if I can find that real quick. Jinx joint. Oh, Pegan Pass, no, there's no stick visible in that one. But yeah, so some people say, hey, this is Justin saying you need your stick, right? Because he says, bona fide grab your walking stick. I do think that's interesting. I think it's something. I think King Castro, I couldn't say it. The words would not leave they got caught in my throat. I just couldn't verbalize them. I think when it's all said and done, I'd really be interested in what this line is. Maybe we do need a stick for something, for measuring something. But it's tough because if you need a certain stick, then you need a certain height. And, there's plenty of numbers to choose from. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting to point out, right? Grab your walking stick and start searching kind of treasure. Now, if he would have put an M dash in between all those, our minds would all be blown. But he put an N dash between them. So, anyways, interesting. Let's go. Now he gets into how he broke his tibia, and people have questioned that, but he came out with a Facebook video. This is old news by now, but in case you didn't know, there is a video on his Facebook where he does show the before him pulling out a jack and getting ready to like seconds before disaster lift up this moving truck. All right, let's go. Oh, hold on, reading the chat. Long live the live, y'all. Just like to do. Thank you for the reminder, Rose. Must please senpai with Cipher. Must please senpai with Cipher. Senpai, what? He already does those things. Oh, DC dropping some secrets here. Wink, wink. Kelly, quick shout out to the chat. Y'all rock. Y'all do rock. I do appreciate the engagement here. I bought a timeshare. Oh, maybe that's the key. What lives in time? Timeshares, right? We're supposed to be buying, or it's hidden in a timeshare. You buy the right timeshare, and it's hidden. I am pretty good with balloons. I am. Thank you, Alexis. I not to toot my own horn. Yukon, message retracted. Uh-oh. What's up? Cool, bro. How you doing? Says 4 trips, and the book says 2. So I think so the book says, I'm reading it right here. Embarking on this venture involved 2 exceedingly long trips, right? Each stretching well over. To me, I've always taken that as driving mobile. He's using 2 trips around the American West. And when Emma and Jam asked him, shout out to Emma and Jam, their channel, Treasure Hunt With Us, very great. We're kind of like, I don't know, partner channels. So I like to think that we collaborate. They asked him how many trips from, and I'm pretty sure I might get this wrong, from the vehicle, and we know that it wasn't his vehicle. So that's how I took it, sneaky. That, hey, Justin, how many trips did you have to go out there, boots on the ground essentially, to hide your treasure, right? And the answer was 4. Now we still don't know if it's all at one time or different times. I like to think it's one time, but that hasn't been verified or counted down yet, right? So. To round up or down depends on if you are well over halfway. That's good. Find the heart, Froggy. We're trying, Yukon. We're trying, man. Really trying. Okay, so screen down. Where was I? Jack. Yeah, Jack's again, right? One-eyed Jacks. Here we go. If you look at Jack pumping up, could be a one-eyed, and it punched out his knee. So, man, I really like the card thing. I just can't. Maybe I'm just gonna have to just sit in isolation and try to pound this out. I don't know. Okay, so here we have some more pirate stuff, right? I limped along. He limped along because of the jack that went wrong. Like a slightly gimpy Long John Silver. If you don't know Long John Silvers, they serve mediocre fish and French fries in the South. But it's also a pirate, right? Pretty famous pirate, Long John Silver. There's been a couple, I think even Disney iterations. I think the Treasure Planet movie wasn't the alien cook chef guy, wasn't he? His name like a John Silver, a Long John Silver. I felt there was a Long John Silver in there somewhere. All right, back to the treasure. Then we talk about some of them. The gold Britannias. I'm not gonna go through all this right here, but I do find this interesting. And so from what I've learned or tried to research, right, and I defer to the chat here. The correct way to refer to a Pamp Suisse kilogram bar is to capitalize the PAMP, the P-A-M-P. And the reason why I look at that is because on the next page, we're going to get into a lot of the capitalization of Ando, which seems to stand out very strong, very intentionally. And I will do a quick shout out to Sidetrack and his partner, Van Day. They were very graceful. They shared a cipher in the Discord community this morning. So if you're not in Discord, you really need to be there. I'm not saying you got to be there 24/7, but Discord has a great search feature, so you could just search, around your work schedule, around your life schedule, and figure out what the hot topics are, what you missed, anything related, because people are sharing a lot of information. So this is kind of late, maybe not late in the game, middle of the game, but I did pump a few Discords early on. Again, there's 3 main ones. There's, Calazar's, there's Mysterious Writings, and there's Treasure Hunt With Us. And each have their own pros and cons, right? Mysterious Writings, I think, is still the largest one with the most members. Calazar has a great database of, a bunch of other hunts in there. Mike and Christy do their own live show. They're really active and really approachable in there. And then Treasure Hunt With Us is almost like always on 24/7. So you want the newest information up to date and like active. Like that's where I'm at most of the time. But again, so shout out to them for sharing that with us this morning. It's not mine, and so I'm not gonna like go out and say it. If you hop in the Discord if you really want, they have some really great things there. It's pretty cool. Anyways, catching up. Pamp Suisse, all right? So again, the capitalization of PAMP. 1 stands out in the page as we're looking. 2, I mean, who's not going to notice the shiny gold bar that, again, doesn't have a description with it. But you could say, well, we're describing it in the text, so that's the description for it. We don't need another description underneath of it, because what would it say? I'm talking about a Pamp Suisse bar, description, Pamp Suisse bar, and then the picture of it. So maybe that's why he didn't put it there. Then we start talking about a little bit of history, which again, I'm a big fan of history, big fan of history being a part of this hunt. And we lead us to the next page, which we have some more treasures, right? We've got 3 out of the 4 things are people. Things is incorrect. Hopefully it's not disrespectful. People that this hunt is addressed to. And if we just move 4 pages to the future, we'll see a description for that. So in my head, I'm wondering if the formatting, because it almost feels like this, right? This is how I read this chapter. The treasure, right? If you look right here, right? So 1, 2, 3. We're missing the fourth one. Where's the fourth one? Well, you've got to move a couple pages over to see the fourth one. And there's no, on this page right here, the hardback 202, there's no introduction or title, or the what do they call that? The key letters, the gilded gold. So in my head, this page right here goes to all of this. And I don't know if I'm just slow and everybody got that but me, but it took me a while to realize that. I thought that was very odd. For me, the story, The Treasure, ends right here. This is the ending of The Treasure. And then we're like what I would call the back of the book, because now we have the poem, all right? But the more I read it, now I'm like, okay, this is actually the picture of all the gold, and the poem is inserted in the story, The Treasure. And it's halfway before the end. I don't know. I find the formatting odd in this part. I think if you were to take out this page right here, if you were to just take this spread out, I think it would flow very nicely from no, the path to discovery is surrounding in significance, not peril. You've got Grandpa Fitz leaning up against a tree, his famous binoculars always in his hand. And then you turn the page, and now we have, like the 4 points of a compass, I've dedicated the treasure to 4 departed souls, right? So we start out, I've dedicated this treasure in the story of the trip. So again, I don't know if this is something that everybody knows, and I'm just like the last one on the train. I just got that recently while reading it over. So let's see. Pause for the chat real quick. A lot of poker references in the book. Find 780 days. Poker hard as well. Double tap your screen. Discord's where it's at. Highly addictive. Yeah. They posted it in the Cipher page wells yesterday. So there you go. There's something you can find. And I suspect that all the 3 major Discords will have that posted on their Cipher sections as well. And the Netflix 1652 is on the license plate of the ATV. 1652 Oak Shilling. Oh, sneaky. Look at Sneaky sharing some stuff. Also 1203 on the other ATV. This is a good catch. I don't think people talk about that. Yeah, I don't. I really haven't seen that posted that well. Okay. So again, got a little distracted and moved ahead a little bit. So here we have some dynasty stuff, right? I did last year. I was teaching like middle and high school history. We talked about the Chinese dynasties and how they transitioned to one of the first transitions to paper currency, moving from minted coins to paper. And the early forms of check writing. And anyways, it's not really applicable here. But we talk about he starts describing some of the coins that are mentioned. It spends a good deal of time. And now we get to the famous Ando, right? Which again, if you want to know what the Ando cipher is, I think that's what we're calling it, the Ando cipher. Join one of those Discords and you'll see which I should probably put links to the Discords in the description for this video. So that's what I'll do. But, so here's where I'm... the capitalization, right? So you can see it right there, halfway down 198, we have Ando, A-N-D-O, all capitalized. Again, and in parentheses, Ando. It's there twice. Yeah, I don't know. Is this where this does lean a lot of credence to the whole Ando cipher? This is standing out. It's a visual key. You've got a super long M dash. It just looks to me like super long. Then there's my pride and joy, right? I think that's one of the things they point out. And then there's a nice story attached to it, right? So this oak shilling is not the oldest one, right? There's older coins, right? That would be the Lydia coin. But this one is tied significance to America, right? This is a hunt for the American West. This would be a great place for a cipher to be about it. And not only that, but he tells you, think about it. There's a few points in the book where he tells you to think about something. I think those are pretty interesting. If you have an ebook and you do a word search on anywhere where he says think about, or you think, or yeah, something like that. Think about or you think, or I want you to think. It's pretty interesting what he tells us to think about, right? So this is him telling us to think about this. Think about that. That normally refers to something he said in the past. So think about the previous whole paragraph. All right, I'm going to move on. This whole meteorite thing, it just seems, when you read it, it seems a little forced in here. It just seems like, all right, I'm going to spend literally a page, because it's half and half, a whole page talking about coins from all different dynasties, a little bit about the history, tying it into America. All right, and then I'm about to spend a half a page talking about the dragon bracelet. And here I have just a sentence. And it's a separate sentence, so it's not attached to a paragraph before or after. But we have a sentence where I'm just going to say, this is going to be a direct quote from the book. Hey, to round things out, round the bend, right? To round things out. And does this round things out? Like, does it? To round things out, I added a large meteorite that's traveled further than all of us ever will, because nothing says treasure quite like a rock from space. Does it say I don't know. I read that and I smile, and it just seems to be like it's something. I don't know what. It just seems like it's something. A lot of people have solves where they use the meteorite, they use the location of the meteorite, they use some of the technical things about it as part of their solve. I don't know. I've done meteorite solves before. It's I moved on from them for now, but it does seem, reading this story that's called The Treasure, it just seems a little bit forced in there. I mean, I think you could spin a couple more sentences, right? I mean, we just spent, again, a whole page on coins. There's going to be a half a page alone on the dragon bracelet. Here's a sentence about the meteorite. I mean, you could write a couple more sentences, right? I mean, put in something about, man, I found it at a really cool spot, or something about, I've always been interested in space, or something about, I don't know, a little bit more context there. Did you know meteorites hold precious metals? Or I don't know, just something else about it. But just one sentence on it just seems kind of odd. And then to round things out, right? I mean, for one, if you're going to round things out, that's kind of the end of something, right? So why not put this sentence after the dragon bracelet? Why is it going to be 4? I don't know. And then the whole, round is in, it's a direct poem word, right? It's not a round, it's round the bend. And here we have to round things out. I don't know. It just seems, I just can't move away from it easily. So I don't know. All right, but now we're going to get moving along. Davio, there he is. There's the guy himself. He needs some artwork. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a custom Froggy one day. I'll have to meet him up, pass him some sketches. And we'll do a Davio thing. Yeah, good artwork by Davio. Book is full of weird references. Maybe the container is a rock. Could be. At first I thought, no, but 2 numbers. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Thank you for sharing, Sneaky. It's really good. Weird type puts the meteorite next to the... Yeah. He's always moving the meteorite around, right? So, very interesting. Okay, so we talked about the, Eric Sloan, Rocky Mountains, where he hid for a decade. Moving along. I mean, you just spent like 2 sentences describing, right, some of the, a nice description of the dragon bracelet. But just 1 sentence on the meteorite. I mean, you could even add something about like how it shines or sparkles or the shape. But no, it's just that meteorite thing, man, stands out. And this part is really great. Those are just the pieces I'm willing to talk about. There are other items in the treasure, right? Part of the reason why it was filled to the gills. He couldn't add a single thing more. Things that perhaps shouldn't be mentioned until they're found. What? Like, what is it, all right? Yes, it's all there, hidden for some intrepid soul to discover. It's my nod. Okay, so I think there's a couple nods in this chapter, this story, which is why I believe that, I'm getting to believe, it's one of my top beliefs. I'm backstepping as I say it. There might be a key to the cipher in this story alone. And that's not an original thought. That's not a breaking news Froggy thing. Like, this is, a lot of people think this. But for one of the things that point out to it, not only are all the M dashes in here, and N dashes, and just regular dashes, but it's phrases like that. It's my nod to the adventurers. When he talks about what the cipher is going to be, it's going to be a nod to the container. Who look at the map and see not boundaries but invitations. Let's see, Magellan. Pretty cool thing about Magellan. Didn't he have kind of a sad, tragic, murderous ending? The Trove, secreted away, a spot that's dear to my heart. Again, heart. Location of whispers, personal lore, and secrets. And then finally, the path to discovery is surrounded in significance, not peril, which I think is a great, would have been a great lead into the safety chapter. But it doesn't. Right after the next page, we have the full color, very bright, buffalo in your face, gold coins, right? All that. And then we have the picture of Tucker and the poem. And then I'm gonna go ahead and read this next page because I still feel this is all part of the same story. And again, another confirmation that would have been is that if you notice at the very bottom of the bottom right page, we'll have what story it's in. So for example, right here, the treasure. So the left page has the name of the book. The right page has the treasure. It's hard to confirm that because this one, the treasure. This one, it's a full thing to the bottom, so you can't really see. So again, I don't know if this is anything. This is just something that I thought was pretty cool. And maybe everybody else knows this but me. But I now have the understanding and realization that this page, we're still in the same The Treasure story. Which I guess I had missed that before. That's probably just me. All right, so like the 4 points of a compass, I've heard a lot of talk about this. And some of my early solves had that. I'm now going back to it because I was peer pressured into it by the community, I guess. But early on, I think it made sense to have 4 compass points, 4 peoples dedicated to 1 introductory stanza and 4 critical ones. So let's match up each one to a direction, to a cardinal direction. Not only that, let's match up each one to a person. I think that made sense to me. I think there's evidence for that with the East. I think that's a little bit of a hint. Now that we find that the key to the cipher is the key to one direction lies in another, makes me think that instead of East, it's West. So, good description of 6 video when he gets back from being authenticated. Yep, good, solid job, Duff, for anyone who wants to learn more about the meteorite. If I'm looking for... I'm not near my notes. Okay, all right, let's move on. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. So he talks about first, right? So that's one key right there. So first, and you can take that as at the first stanza, it's the second stanza, it's at the first direction or the second direction, or it's just first here. First in memory of my late brother, Brandon, all right? And really beautiful, memorable words here addressing that. And then we have next, a tribute to another guiding star. So it's interesting that he brings up guiding star second. So instead of saying my first guiding star or alluding to stars at all, we have the 4 points of a compass. We have the first one, Brandon. And then the second one, now we have another guiding star. So now we have to go back and say, oh, okay, they're all guiding stars. And this is another reason why people use constellation solves and star solves and look to the sky for guidance for where the treasure's at. My dad, right? Again, I love that phrase. There's many ways to refer to a father. His name, dad, papa, dad, pop, father, dad. But anyways, I like it. Dad, very short, sweet, 3 letters. He also says, "and all my family that have come before me." So that's interesting to me to add that line right there. Normally, I would go with the oldest patriarch if I'm gonna reference, and everybody else before. I would have done Grandpa Fitz, but I guess because the Fitz is on the maternal side, then that would make sense to me. Okay, if I'm going to go through the paternal line, I would say, all right, tribute to my father and everyone before him, and I'm referencing the Poseys, I'm referencing the South, I'm referencing Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. I guess, and that's how I kind of interpret it now. And then we go to Grandpa Fitzwater, bringing up the London Bridge. That's now in Arizona. And again, heart, your legacy in my heart. There's another heart reference. And last but not least, we have Tucker, right? Again, another metronome, and it's set to celebrate. I don't know. I'm not willing to share that one yet. And so here we go. We're rounding off to the end right here. I offer this endeavor as an invitation, all right, to us. And again, invitation calls out to 2 pages before when he says, so yes, it's all there, hidden away for some intrepid soul to discover, who look at a map and see not boundaries but invitations. So again, that's a tie-in for invitations to boundaries and maps, specifically not boundaries, specifically not state boundaries. That ties in well with his answer, I believe, into people that have a certain state and how he refers to that. That's in the Tyler interview. But again, that's a nice call out for invitations right there. Adventure explore, perhaps forging connections, resonate deeper than you may imagine. Again, the whole resonate, that might be you say, oh, that's another sound technical audio clue. End of a rainbow, finding it up. And then we have, this was a great question I think by Indy had asked early on about the father's wisdom as a guiding light, grandfather's resilience, brother's sense of wonder. So the order here, the order is like, there's like, I think 4 different orders. I think he's done every single order of all 4 compass points. On the website, the orders are different. In the description for the book, the orders are different. In the acknowledgements, dedications, the order is different. And then here we have the orders different on the page than as the end, right? The page goes Brandon, Dad, Grandpa, Tucker. And here we have at the conclusion of this story, we have Tucker, Dad, Grandpa, Brandon. So again, it's just, the order is interesting to me, which because there's like 4 different orders, makes me wonder if the order is not important, which could be an interesting message. But I don't know. Talked pretty long today. 45 is one of the longer ones. But let's see. Man is Mom's Basement. Who are you? What show is this about? JK, don't answer that. You've been here before, man. I recognize that profile pic. You're, I think you used to be Opie or something like that, maybe. But I'm Froggy. I do a book channel, little book club here, following Justin Posey's Beyond the Map's Edge Hunt, where me and 52 people try to find the clues that will let one of us be rich. That's why we're here. Vast B, praise the Lord indeed. Celebrate 123, good for cardio. Oh, yeah. Kid, maybe Captain Kid. Thumbs up. All right, let's go back to the chat real quick, see if I missed anything. No, I think we're pretty current. All right. Love this book club. Thanks, Jasper. Thanks, Josh. Again, some final thoughts, some closing thoughts on the Cipher. So again, I will be rereading this story pretty closely, looking at notes. I'm going to go back to my notes about the playing cards and just see if there's something there, man. It just seems, I mean, shovels and hearts, right? Spades and hearts. It just seems like there's so many references in the book. I'm going to try to replicate what Sturm did and count all the heart references, see if there's actually 52. That would be mind-blowing if there was, right? Imagine that, 42 and 52 being significant numbers. I do know that there's 10 number 10s in the book and there's 20 number 20s in the book. So that, I've never figured out why that's there. It just seems really significant. I've just never made it fit with anything, the 10 and the 20. What else? Final Cipher thoughts. I like the Ando one. To me, I don't think the container is going to be anything box shape. Nothing rectangular, nothing square, nothing that could be labeled a chest, right? Because that's very problematic when he says, twice? It's not a chest. And if anything is found that can be even loosely determined a chest, there's going to be room for complaint and people are going to have room for, justified or not, but there will be discussions of, well, you directly contradicted and that's why I couldn't find it, right? I was looking for this and it turns out it was wrong. So I don't think he would even open himself up to that. I mean, there's no reason for him to comment on when anyone brings up chest, he could just not say anything, right? But for him to double down twice and say it's not a chest, it really does, for me, eliminate anything rectangular or box shaped, just in my opinion, just for the problems it'll cause afterwards. All right. Love this, Froggy. Thank you. Fully really on God. There goes respect. There we go. I like that frog acronym. Montana Josh, love you, buddy. Catch you next go around. Tempo's Allegro. Thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just try to follow. We've all got voices in our heads, in our hearts, and I just tend to try to follow mine, and it's led me down interesting paths in life. But it's never. It may have led me to difficult situations, but I've always come out of it. It's never, following the voice inside of me has never led me worse off than when I started. So I'm just going to keep doing it. So if it tells me to make a silly frog shirt and wear it, that's what I'm going to do. If it tells me to make a YouTube channel, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, for as long as this goes out, I make no promises to the community or YouTube that I'm going to do this forever, right? There may come a day when I have to give it all up, and that's what I'll do. But for now, we're here in the moment. We're enjoying it. We're here. We're engaged. We're talking. I feel like it's where I'm supposed to be, and it's working out pretty well. So 2 times. Let's see. Kelly, Blue circle. Anything in the middle of nowhere be noticeable. Nice work. Thank you, Yukon. Appreciate it. Peace out. Hat next time. Was hard to focus today. The window is a little bit closed, man. It's not as shiny. I'm actually, this is like, I don't know, one day's growth up here. So this should be no glare. All right. Thanks. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut it. All right. Thanks, guys. See you at the meetup. Oh yeah. Coming up pretty soon, November 8th. Brewery in Tannersville, Pennsylvania, right in the Poconos. Will be a meet and greet. What's the name of the brewery? Something starts with a B. Something brewery. I think there's only one brewery in Tannersville. Tannersville, Pennsylvania, right there in the Poconos, right near the Delaware Gap, right near the Jersey. I guess because I've been looking at it, my feed's been filled with like Jersey pizza places, and I don't know. There's a pizza place I want to try out in Jersey. They have something called the Swine Fighter, and the dude puts like a massive scoop of pepperoni, the good pepperonis, the little like pepperonis that curl up into a cup. I don't know. I'm really excited about this pizza. All right, guys. I missed out. If I remember in Prescott again, I'll go to Fat Frog. All right. See you guys.